Hello, this is Linda Vettrus-Nichols, and do I have an amazing woman to introduce you to, Andrea Sanchez. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi, Linda. So great to be here with you today.
It's always a pleasure. Okay, so we're going into ask for help. Do you do that? How easily do you do that? That's a toughie. That's a real toughie for me.
Yes, very tough. And that's why I called it out.
There you go.
Ask for help, I think, is so critical because at least me, I was brought up that with this image of perfection and that we need to show up in a certain way for people to think that we're complete and that we're competent and that we're strong leaders or that we're worth attention or we're worthy. But we can't do it alone. It's okay to ask for help and to realize that you are all of that if you give yourself permission to be that. At the same time, it can get overwhelming with so many expectations from what others want of you. And also just alone of the things, if you're like me, and I know you are, of just constantly learning and wanting to push out so many other things and helping others. And sometimes we forget about ourselves. So it is hard to ask for help when you're really into it and want to move forward and make a difference for the world. But, you know, just as you have your spark, you can only create a fire if you put other sparks into it. So.
Ooh, I love that one. Yeah. And that whole perfectionism thing, for me, it was, if I wasn't perfect, I would hear about it. Not like I was expecting to have perfect grades or anything like that. It was just the critiquing, constant critiquing.
Yeah.
You're so pale. Get out in the sun. You look horrible. You're so pale. You need lipstick.
Yes.
It has to be this shade. Oh, no, not that shade. Oh, you can't wear that. La, 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 right? And then to have a mother who was a clothes horse, right? Like, what's the latest fashion coming out? I could have given a rip, and I still don't care. So, you know what? So most of the time it's like, I don't wear lipstick. I finally agree. I do look better with lipstick, but I don't really care on the daily. So yeah, I hear you. So then when you get into the perfectionism, then you get into the hard to ask for help thing too. And the thing that got me over my perfectionism is I was doing an anthology book. I had interviewed like 50 women and asked 16 if they wanted to be in a book together. Wow. And I had all these files. I had even made like 8 little books with 2 of them each. And I had done like summits, 8 summits once a month. It was crazy town. So I ended up publishing 9 books all in at once. I know, right? And so when I went into the final file, I thought I was in the final. I wasn't. And I published the wrong file. Now, it was just my really stupid last minute teeny little edits. It wasn't anything that they, didn't want published or something like that. So it wasn't a huge deal.
Yeah.
It still felt so devastating, and it's not so much embarrassing to me. It was just like I was trying to like get it perfect for them, right? And this is representing them, and right. So and me too. And so it was just like, oh. And then I was like, you know what? You can torment yourself with this, or you can let this go. And, this will teach you to be thinking you have to be perfect anyways. So, yeah, I came to grips with that. And then one of the gals in the book, I don't think she was saying it because of the book, but she had mentioned to her mother, she had this thing about spazzing out about people being, like making spelling errors and stuff, and it just drove her crazy because that's just not who she is. She easily doesn't make those mistakes, and I just thought that was so funny, and like that could have triggered me, and it didn't. It's like, oh, you really are over this. Good job.
Wow.
That felt
Yeah,
really
very
nice.
good job.
Okay. So you alluded to the you are not alone. And, that gets into the entrepreneurial stuff. We think, we have to do this ourselves. And we don't understand the power of what I call joint ventures. And this is the clear example of a joint venture, what we're doing here. And there's just so many joint ventures, so many things you can do together that help to develop that know, like, and trust. Because with know, like, and trust, it's almost an instant sale, right?
Agree. Cool. And also the you're not alone part is when you are feeling like you're having a bad day, or you feel even the people that have so many years of experience have that imposter syndrome, or they don't feel qualified enough, or who would pay attention to my book if I wrote it, or so many people feel that same way. But it takes courage to speak up and share those stories. But just know that everyone's human, no matter what title they have, no matter how many degrees or best-selling books they have. You're not alone. They have those moments too.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. I like that flip too. And someone is listening. That is so hard out on social media. Is like, has anybody seen my posts? Is anybody listening? Like, nobody's commenting. Like, what does that really mean, right? And even like if you build up like a newsletter list, unless you're asking people to respond back, some will, not all for sure. And even there, you like have no idea. I mean, you can go in the back end and see, if people have opened them or whatever. But man, it's frustrating. That's why it's really nice to, have that collection of people, even people maybe you get together with, like on Zoom or be in some sort of a group program, and get that camaraderie. And it's like, oh, people are listening. And you're so good at edifying people and giving them feedback from what they shared or what they just said. And that's like priceless. And I'm not that good at it, and I'm looking to improve. And you're definitely one of my heroes there, and master teacher. So thank you for being such a great example of it. And I just want to make the point that when someone says something and somebody else can come back, in love, it really changes a person, and it really opens their heart. So it's very cool.
Oh, well, thank you for that. I actually, I feel the same way about you. Oh. And it goes to prove the point I also want to make with someone is listening. I can relate everything that you said, but at the same time, I kind of changed my perspective there, in that we may never know who's listening, not even in our lifetime. Yes. I mean, how many times, think about it, that you're on social media and you read a Twitter post and you think something, but you don't do anything online. You just think about it.
Yeah.
But that person will never know how much it meant to you.
Right. It totally takes me to the Moses story, and right, the guy is like looking at the deliverer dying in his arms. The slave had him in his arms, I believe, in that story. Yeah. And he didn't even know who he was looking at. So
I think the main thing to do is just keep being you, keep putting your messages out there. You may think no one is listening. You will never find out who's listening. But the idea that there is someone listening, and there probably is, and that you touch that one person, that in itself is a gift. And that's what you did to me, Linda. You may not realize it, but you do that to me.
That's so cool. Yeah. So you may or may not know. And I just love that point that, like, you'll never know, right? Just even have that attitude when you're like feeling sorry for yourself. I love it. Okay. So only the strong ask. Understatement.
Yeah. So I think it just goes back to what we were saying. I think there comes a level of intense courage to be able to ask for help.
Yeah. The stronger person you are, it takes more courage, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you're kind of admitting that you don't know all the answers, you're not perfect, which guess what? No one is.
Yeah,
So it just takes that one person to, again, to be the spark and ignite others to be human.
I love how you frame that with the spark. That is just such a great word picture.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. This has been wonderful as usual. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Linda.
Bye-bye.
Bye.